Hey, what's up? My name's Aaron White with the A-List team here. Today's video, we're gonna be talking about pricing. That's right. How do you get the best deal? How do you make the best offer to get you the best price? So we're gonna cover a few things. First, what are the top things the A-List team recommends you consider in pricing? Second of all, how do you avoid overpaying? Overpaying is everyone's nightmare. I mean, nobody wants to get the bad end of a deal, right? So we're gonna talk to you how we're gonna do that. Last of all, how do you negotiate the best deal with the best terms for you? All right, so let's kick it off with a few things that you need to be thinking about when you're even making an offer or getting a different price, right? First of all, is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? How do you even know? Because realtors are gonna all tell you, oh, you just need to come to me and I'll tell you, right? Yes, there's a fact to it. Yes, we can present you the data to kind of show you what the market is showing us in terms of data, but really price is simply supply and demand. Number of active listings is a really important metric to look at. Number of transactions closed. If they're both going up, price doesn't necessarily go down, but if active listings goes up and transactions goes down, now you have less buyers out there buying houses. A simple metric you can use to follow what the pricing is doing is simply Google median pricing of houses in Houston, Texas or Katy, Texas, and you're gonna find what the current market is doing like right now. Now keep in mind that there's always seasonal pricing fluctuations. You're always gonna see lower prices December, January, and early February, and then at the end of February and March, we typically see an uptick of prices all the way through August, right? So those are how you can price your seasons and maybe even plan your buying to get you top price in terms of seasonal there. Other things to look for, the condition of the home could grant you better pricing. If it needs a little bit of fixing up and you're willing to do that, that can get you a better deal. Last of all, getting to motivation. Motivation, you're probably not gonna know a lot because you're looking on the MLS at houses, but realtors can be talking to agents, learning the situation. Why is that seller selling? If we can learn a little bit more about that, that might help us in our negotiation and getting better terms that ultimately get you the best price. And then of course, last of all, things to consider is your budget, right? What can you afford in terms of down payment and the terms that we're negotiating on the contract to get you that good deal. All right, so let's answer that big, hairy question. How do you avoid overpaying on a property? Nobody, and I mean nobody, likes getting the short end of the stick in a deal. You don't want to come out of that deal feeling like you got burnt. So number one thing we do as realtors is of course run you a good CMA or comparable market analysis. We're investors as well. We serve a lot of our investing community in finding homes, and we've gotten really good at analyzing tens of thousands of homes and figuring out what the value is of a home, what kind of repairs or updates will yield X amount of dollars at the end of the day. So having a good CMA is super important when finding that house. And then of course, how you write the offer makes a big difference for you, right? Because realtors have a lot of other things besides just the valuation of a house. But bankers who are lending on a home want to know that they are getting a good deal on that investment, right? So what are they gonna do? They're gonna hire an appraisal whose only job is to figure out the value of a home. They're gonna go through multiple different algorithmic approaches to pinning down the value of your home, and they're gonna give you what's called an appraisal report. We as realtors can write an offer saying, hey, our offer is contingent on the bank approving things, and the bank is going to review that appraisal when they're looking at that offer. So if it is not, then you would get that earnest money that you put down as a down payment on that offer back, and you have the option of backing out of that deal should you choose to do that. Now, the seller is seeing that maybe they overpriced their home, or maybe you made an offer that was over the price, may realize, hey, this is probably the best I'm gonna get. Let's take it and move forward. But it at least protects you and your offer so that you don't lose money in a deal. No one wants to be on the short end of the stick there, right? So, last of all, let's negotiate not only on price, but also on terms. Terms will impact the dollars out of your pocket. Terms will impact the dollars you pay monthly. And so it's important to look at a number of different negotiation tactics beyond the price. Some sellers are so caught up on price that they don't read the terms and conditions to realize that maybe the buyer is asking for $5,000, $10,000 in seller concessions that all go towards paying closing costs and save you a ton of money, right? So we need to look at all of those kinds of things. We need to look at your budget too to make sure that we're aligned with this. That's how we avoid overpaying. All right, great. So how good of a deal can the A-List team truly negotiate me as the buyer, right? We're gonna dive into a few things. Of course, this is very market dependent, right? Back in 2021, I was helping clients. A good example, they were looking at making an offer on a house that was listed at $200,000. $200,000 was slightly over the market comparables for that neighborhood. They made an offer at $225,000, more than 10% over, and they got rejected because they had received over 25 offers on that house, and the highest offer was somewhere around $240,000, right? So it really depends on the market. If it's flooded with buyers, it's gonna be very challenging to negotiate a price down a lot. But in many markets, it changes, and you will see offers coming straight off the market with 50K plus more in equity immediate on close because they need to sell fast if they're in that condition, right? So it can range very widely, and it's hard to say without knowing the market, right? So let's talk about that first. But see, these are the things that make your offer strong. These are the things in your control in any market that you can control to make your offer the strongest and potentially get you the best terms when it comes to price. Number one is increasing your option and your earnest money, okay? Option and earnest money is what you pay when you put an offer down on a house, but that money goes towards the closing and towards the purchase of that house. So it's not lost money. And if you really like a house, it shows a seller that you're serious about buying because you're putting more on the table and that you have confidence you're gonna get approved and close and follow through. They don't wanna relist that property and have to go find another buyer. They wanna know the person they're doing business with is serious. They're ready to go. Second of all, waive your contingencies. So there's multiple contingencies here. And it's really the two biggest one are the option period where you have that house inspected. And again, you need to know that there are risks in buying a house without an inspector. We always recommend you get an inspector when you're getting a house unless you're experienced and you understand those costs. However, if you waive that contingency, huge plus to you because that means you're a serious buyer. Another one is the approval. If you can waive the need to get approved by your lender, then that puts you in a much better position. The best way and the best offer you can give is to give a all cash offer. This is where you're saying, I'm not using a lender. I'm not going to put an offer under an option period where I'm gonna have it inspected, so on and so forth. And I'm giving you a cash offer. That means that I'm going to close, I can close fast, and they know that, of course, you're gonna be there. Not everyone can do that, granted, but that's the best way to do that. You can always refinance later. If you are in that position to buy cash, huge plus to getting a better price. And of course, limiting your asks. There's a number of asks that traditionally a seller would pay for. Sellers often pay up to like 10% of the transaction in closing costs. They're gonna pay title fees, title insurance, they often pay survey, they may be asked to pay HOA fees and all that other stuff. So if you can take some of those off their plate too, then it helps them see that your offer is better than some of the other ones that are out there. And then last of all, let's talk about seller needs. As we're engaging with our clients and with our prospective sellers' clients, we want to understand what is the situation. Oftentimes they may need an extra month so that they can move to get out from school and so on and so forth, finish the school year. These are things that we can negotiate in terms of closing date, or we could do a lease back to secure that we have the things that meet the seller's needs and their timelines, specifically usually around moving and the condition by which they move out, right? So these are all things that we can do to help you get the best price and the best engagement. And we'll work with you consistently throughout our transaction to make sure that we take care of you and that you understand what the market's pricing and how we can use pricing strategies to A, get you the house, but also get you the best deal.